Am I one now see the live? Okay, broadcast is now live. Love that. Love that. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to our second annual Biochemistry Society Alumni Day 2021 edition. I don't know what the 2020 is still doing there. We're not living in the past, we're living in the future. We're living in the present, you know. So, guys, how are you all today? I want to see you in our comment box, blowing it all up, telling a friend to tell a friend to bring a friend. We're waiting on you. 6 people? No. Can't start the big. I invited folks, I can't start the big alumni day with those 6 people. So let me just remind you all, give you a little wake up call, real quick. Okay, message sent. Let me look back now and see how much people we have. Let me look back now. Okay. Alrighty. So we still have 5, but the show must go on. And before we start anything, we're going to invite God into our midst and hope that we have a successful alumni day, and that you come and you'll learn something. You'll hear something that's you wanted to hear. So I'll invite our PRO, Shanae Harriet, to the live to just breathe a word of prayer for us.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for another day. I want to thank you for your love and your mercies towards us. God, I want to thank you for allowing us to gather here today, oh God, for another Biochemistry Alumni Day. God, I pray that this session will be one that is very interactive and engaging. I also pray that, Lord, the session will be inspiring and motivating to those who need it. Lord, I pray that you will continue to bless each and every one who join us on this live. Continue to work in our lives, Lord. Continue to be with us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Okay, thank you for that lovely prayer. I really hope that we have a wonderful time here, where 5 are gathered in the chat, in a YouTube chat. God is there. So, okay, let me tell you about our alumni day. So, today we invite people who have graduated and come back, who are graduated and employed, unemployed. We want to see all the sides to what happened after you got that bachelor's that says Bachelor's of Science in majoring in biochemistry, majoring in micro, majoring in biotech, majoring in so many other different sections, chemistry, biology. We weren't limited when we sent out these invitations, guys. So we want everybody. We sent out a long list, a long line. So we have a good catalog from the biochemistry section, from the chemistry section, of people coming here to tell you guys about, you know, what life is really like afterwards. And then we'll drop a little gem or two, a little icebreaker, surprises. We are the club for the surprises and surprises. So watch out for that. We have a lot in store. Okay, to invite our first presenter, we have my VP number 1, Georgina. And so please come on, Georgina, and invite your special guest.
Hi everyone. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are doing perfect. So the first speaker that we have here today is none other than Mr. Kenroy Wallis.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenroy Wallis, as was just introduced. I am a past and a present student at the University of the West Indies. So I finished my bachelor's couple years back. I won't get into when, but it's been a couple years since. Um, I completed a bachelor's in biotechnology. That's what my major was in. It was my experience throughout my bachelor's was I mean, it was the first time coming to university. It's a 3-year program, so after the first rough year of science and technology, I know most of the students here know the rough, tedious work that we have to put in the first year, and then by the second year, you would have chose what course you would like to take, what degrees you would like to pursue, right? I mean, after the first rough year, uh, I decided I wanted to do biotechnology as my major. Along with biotechnology, I think I did all the biochemistry courses. Yes, I was a nerd like that. I did all the biochemistry courses as well as the courses required for the biotechnology degree. Right, I did not really go to faculty to do any other courses, so I stick within my department and within my faculty. I Studying for these courses were a bit difficult. I mean, the best way I would advise when studying for any course really is not to let it accumulate, right? Once you have finished a lecture and if something new that has been introduced to you, it's best that you try and understand from that moment. So if you had gone through the lecture and you didn't really get it, right, ask questions, or with in this current age, there's YouTube, there's Google, you can always find whatever information that has been taught to you online, right? So you can always search to find a different perspective, somebody who was able to present it a different way that is more understanding to you, right? So I always advise when studying not to let it pile up, but try and understand the concepts and the principles of what has been taught to you in that lecture on the current day. Because by the time you get down to the end of the semester or near to a test, you will both just be doing revision and not learning. I remember there are a few courses that you basically before exam you're just learning because some of the material you're reading you're just understanding, and that takes up so much effort and energy that when you become overwhelmed really and stressed because you're not only doing one course, you're doing 3 or 4 courses, and within those 4 courses you have multiple sections of different things you have to cover, right? So when studying, I advise that you learn or try to understand from the moment it has been taught to you, so that when exams come or tests come, it'll be more like a revision rather than trying to learn something new at that current moment, right? um, Throughout my undergrad, I didn't get a scholarship really. I didn't really make the dean's list until like the final year, right? But I was blessed to have parents that were able to cover my tuition. I know that a lot of students have to depend on student loans and grants and bursaries and scholarships, right? I know that at the university, if you do well, there are a lot of scholarships and bursaries available for students um, at at the undergrad level. So I'll always advise students do their best, especially if they're financially challenged, do their best within the semester, within the year, so that they'll be able to compete for a scholarship to cover most of their tuition or a bursary to cover most of their tuition. All right. So at the end of my undergraduate, I graduated with honors, and I decided that I wanted to pursue graduate school. All right. So how did I come to this decision? When I was in undergrad, I did a research course, right? I did my research course and I got an A plus, and I loved research. That was when I found what I really wanted to do when I experienced research on that level. So I decided I wanted to continue along that line and pursue my master's slash PhD in biochemistry, which I garnered interest in when I did my undergraduate research. And the area that I really loved was drug discovery, right? So when I entered grad school, I had spoken to my supervisor at the time that I wanted to do something that would lead me to discovering something new that could treat a current condition that was out there, right? And she introduced me to another colleague of hers, and we tackled synthesizing some compounds that were anti-cancer, as well as isolating some compounds from natural sources, right, which had anti-cancer properties. And we explored the the advantages of using these compounds on fighting cancer, right? So that was basically, I covered my graduate program. My graduate program, I said, was in biochemistry. I learned a lot through those years, right? Because it was multidisciplinary. So I learned some chemistry as well. I learned a lot of techniques that when in undergrad, you are only taught these techniques, but in graduate school, you actually do these techniques and you grow a greater appreciation for what you were taught, because now things are much more applicable. And you see how important these techniques that were taught to you or said to you, lectured to you in undergrad, you see how important they are in the real world and how hands-on you have to be when using them, right? Okay, pursuing a science career path. After you finish a bachelor's, there are jobs available in Jamaica. I mean, I know a few of my colleagues who are working SRC, who are working at Bureau of Standards, who are working at some um, Appleton, Ray Neville, etc. Right? So there are areas where you can be hired, and there are private labs who hire students who have completed a bachelor's degree in science, especially in basic medical science areas, biotechnology, biochemistry, molecular biology, chemistry, biology, right? But and my honest opinion is that if you wish to pursue a fruitful career in science, I think it's necessary that you pursue higher education, right, in the form of a MSc or MPhil, PhD, right? And the opportunities for that are vast, right? You and UAE, UTech, NCU aren't the only institutions you can apply for, right? There are many overseas institutions that welcome students who want to pursue STEM-based higher education, right? I know abroad, North America, Canada, and USA, there are a lot of programs, a lot of scholarships that are available for students who want to pursue STEM careers. Now, during my tenure, I'm still a graduate student. I submitted my thesis, so I'm on the end of the program. But during my tenure, I was able to travel, and I traveled abroad for 2 years, 2 years plus, where was doing my research. And while I was there, I met a lot of immigrant students from across the world: Kenya, Nigeria, Brazil, Argentina, Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of students, right? And they were all pursuing STEM-based degree programs, master's and PhD level. And none of them were paying tuition because they had achieved or received a scholarship through the various programs that are being offered for STEM programs, right? So there are a vast amount of scholarships and bursary available for students who want to pursue STEM programs. And if you are so inclined that you want to migrate, it's actually a route you can use to immigrate. Because let me tell you this, a lot of the students there that I met, like, their programs are designed that you do internships throughout your summers, so that once you're finished, there's a job available for you, or you're more likely to receive a position of work if you are abroad. All right. At In Jamaica, we don't have that luxury, right? And unfortunately, the government don't put a lot of funding into research and development. But I think it's getting there. But there are actually opportunities for students who just have a BSc, and also for students who want to pursue higher education. Now, what I currently do, I'm a lecturer at NCU, Northern Carolina University, full time, and I enjoy teaching students. Enjoy imparting knowledge, what I've learned and what I've experienced, right? And something I excel at, I think, right? So that is what I currently do. I also have a small business along with some of my partners. We together have a business, and this business is called Melaroma, right, where we produce carrier oils and essential oils. Right, so you, as a student, you're able to utilize the skills that you have learned. It's also wonderful if you're able to utilize those skills to create something new for your own in this current economic atmosphere, right? So we and my colleagues and friends, we have our company Melaroma, and you can check us out online at Melo_Roma on IG, or melaroma.com. If you search for us, you'll find us, right? And let's say, my job, describe my job here. I just teach, I just lecture. That's it. You guys are students, you know what that entails. And I mean, in the future, I want to actually continue research and producing products and drugs, anything that I can get my hand on, any funding I can get my hand on to continue my research, because that's something I enjoy doing. So for students who are pursuing STEM degrees, STEM programs, right, there's a vast amount of opportunity for you out there, right? I said it is wise for you to consider pursuing a higher degree once you're finished. But I know that a lot of us won't have the ability to do so because we have bills to pay and loans to pay off, right? So I understand that you may need to take a break after work a few years, but always keep in mind that if you want to excel in science, you will definitely need to have a higher degree, right? And to get those higher degrees, there are a lot of programs, a lot of bursaries, there are a lot of scholarships available, especially for STEM fields. That will conclude my presentation today. Is there any questions? I am available for answering any questions that you have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wallis. I am sure that people get a little insight on what life is like, a little bit of tips of what is like life is like afterwards. Now I'm looking in the comment section. We can see your comments, guys. So if you have any questions, just shoot it and we'll put it on the screen. And yeah, let us know. How hard was it to get a job?
You kind of
That was another
breaking up,
question.
not really hearing you.
How hard was it to get a job?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. You're kind of breaking up.
It's on the screen. It's on the screen. How hard was it to
Okay.
get a job?
All right. All right. So let's be honest. All right. A lot of times, a lot of colleagues, you have to wait sometimes for you to even get a response. In Jamaica, it's actually very difficult overall to get a job, right? Depending on the field you're in. All right. And in science, a bit more narrow. I must say it's a bit more narrow. It took me It took me when I started looking. Honestly, I started looking about a semester before I actually got up. Right, 'cause before I was working at NCU, I was working at Caribbean Maritime University (CMU) as a lecturer, adjunct lecturer as well. Right, it takes knowing people, it takes networking, it takes that's what it really takes in Jamaica to actually get a position. You have to know somebody or use your opportunity to let people know you. Right. I can't stress that enough, right? Don't shy away from interaction, especially in your career field. Interaction is key because interaction will form relationships, and relationships will form networks that will aid you in furthering your career. So that's actually something you have to do if you want to succeed, right? And it took me a while. I say it took me a couple months, about 4, 5, 6 months, right, to actually land something that was concrete, right? Any other questions? Not seeing any other questions on the chat.
Okay, I'm back.
Are you with me now?
Yes, I feel like I'm with you now. All right,
All right.
links have to fall. I'm seeing so links, aggressive Twitter. Boy, yeah. Well, this is why the university is not just a place, it's a holistic learning. When you hear the word holistic learning and university, it's not just the saying because they want to add words to whatever they want to say. You come here, you create the people who you create the bonds with, the friendship you make, the people who you align yourself with will be those same people you'll be meeting in they'll be your colleagues, your bosses, so yeah, links have to make. Links have to make. This is no joke. You mentioned a lot of scholarship. Did you answer that one from Damali
Ah,
Lewis?
ah, ah, you're kind of breaking up. It's actually very difficult for me to hear what you're saying, honestly.
Okay, alrighty. The question
Yeah,
is on the
you're
screen.
good now. I'm hearing you good now.
Okay, great. The question is on the screen.
Ah, okay, mention a lot of scholarship. Okay. And so could you please tell us some more scholarships? Ah, all right, all right. So there are scholarships on Ministry of Education. They'll offer scholarships, and but those scholarships are conditional. You will have to go and you have to return. You'll have to return home. Masters in Fiji, right? And he was fully funded from Ministry of Education. They paid for his trip to and his trip back and his tuition, and also I think his residence, right? But everything else he had to pay for. Institutions, though, like in North America, a lot of the institutions they'll have scholarships in their programs that are accessible like after a semester. So unfortunately, for a lot of those, you'll have to pay at least the first semester tuition to get in. The first semester tuition to get in, but once you do well, you can apply for those scholarships that are available. There are also
Okay, is it me or he's gone? All right, we'll wait a little bit. We'll wait a little bit. We'll wait a little bit. And if not, we have a lot of presenters waiting, you know. Don't think I one, don't think say a two, don't think say a three. Guys, we have them lined up for you so you can get the information that you want, okay? And so I think it is best that we take down that question and we'll wait until he comes. But we'll not wait. We'll move on to our next presenter. And to do this, Jordan Amrit, are you here to introduce our next presenter? Or is
Yeah,
it
yeah, you
okay?
hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. You're on the live on YouTube. Love that. And
Cool.
so, okay,
All right.
sure.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, I would just like to take this opportunity at this moment to introduce Mr. Derek Arsham to the floor. I remember Mr. Derek from last year in biochemistry when I was actually doing my labs, and he was the one who helped me the most in my lab. So, yeah, man, Derek, big up yourself, man.
Can't want a better introduction. Okay. Um, can't want a better introduction than that, Mr. Derek Harsham. Where are you? We're not hearing you. Well, I am not hearing you, and I'm not seeing you either. Something wrong, or is it just me?
When I hear anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything from Mr. Derek. Alrighty. You know what? In that case, we'll run a 5-minute video from a professor, a teacher, a past student who has been a teacher. And so, moderator, please run that video if you can for us. So, are you liking the alumni day so far, people? It's a the internet
Biochemistry
is a
Society.
okay. Not that one. That one is really long. That one is 16 minutes. That one is 16 minutes. We want the 5-minute one, the little 3-minute one, the 5-minute one. So come back again, moderator. All right, guys. I know we have a little technical difficulties here and there, but you know, we are doing our best. You know, this techno age that we're living in, it's a little bit hard. Okay, our presenter is here. I hope his banner come up with his name too. And enjoy the video. Oh,
Hi.
hi, you're
Yeah, I'm
back.
here now.
Alrighty,
Hopefully
let
you
me
can hear
just
me.
exit the
Give me one sec. I had to switch over. I had to switch over what I was using. So give me one
okay.
second to make sure I'm
Alrighty.
actually
You
not
sound
hearing you.
well, you sound good,
Um,
and you look good. So that's a good.
there we go. I can hear now.
Okay,
Can you hear
great.
me?
Yes, lovely.
Awesome. So thanks for that. That was a nice introduction. I definitely do remember helping you out at the for your labs. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of the similar stuff to what Kenroy was talking about. Um, I mean, it's going to be fairly similar, but I'm going to try to add some stuff. So why did I select my degree? I was actually really confused when I entered UE as to exactly what degree I should take. At the time, I'm not sure if this is how it still is, but at the time, they had the same degree offered in both MolBio, sorry, not MolBio, offered in both SciTech and MedSci. And that was confusing enough. And then once you got in, you had primarily the same courses until you got into third year mostly. And that was when you really chose. That was hard as well because at first I had been in the biochemistry track. I thought that I was going to be looking more along those lines. And then I ultimately decided I went with molecular biology, mostly because for what I wanted to do in future, which I'll talk about a little later, I realized that molecular biology was more in line with what I wanted to do. So I think the first step, especially when if you're choosing between kind of the four, which would be biochemistry, molecular biology, biotechnology, and microbiology. Microbiology is probably the most different of all of them. But definitely when you're choosing between those, it's a good first step to understand what the difference between them really is. Because I know it can kind of seem confusing. They can kind of seem similar at first. But when you really look and analyze them and understand, you start to get what the difference is between them. So why I selected it, that was how I ended up going with the one that I selected. But I wanted to do this because I always wanted to go into medicine research because, and a lot of people I think a lot of people think that the kind of stuff that we do as researchers is inferior to medicine, and it's not about being inferior or superior. It's just a different path that you choose to take. So I chose this because I knew I wanted to do medicine research. I always wanted to help people. I knew that I couldn't personally be a doctor because I would not be able to deal with the patients. I have people in my family who are doctors, and I wouldn't be able to take that. But I still wanted to, help people and add to the world of medicine. And a good way to do that is to come up with the methodologies, come up with the techniques that are going to be used on those patients. So right now, for example, my project is on prostate cancer. And I'm looking at using molecular techniques to diagnose the cancer, because right now they use what are called histological techniques, which is when they look at it under a microscope and they do that kind of stuff. So my project revolves around trying to use molecular techniques to identify it earlier so that you can treat it earlier and give the patient a better prognosis in the long run. So I didn't get any scholarships in undergrad. I did get the postgraduate scholarship. The undergrad scholarship, I knew there were scholarships. There was the department that you could go to at UWI. You could go to SAS and find out about scholarships. I didn't get any, so I can't talk about those. I know there are also undergrad scholarships offered by there's more undergraduate scholarships than there are postgraduate scholarships, because there is the Ministry of Education, but there's also individual companies that also do postgrad or undergraduate scholarships. Depending on, I think, don't quote me on this, I think I remember at one point Ray and Nephew was doing one. Maybe wrong about that, but I know that are companies that do scholarships as well. So you can look into those and you can look up. A good way would be to companies typically offer scholarships to something that might be in their line. So you can see how Ray and Nephew would be, in the line of biochemistry and the like, and microbiology, because it's fermentation and alcohol production and the like. So you tend to be able to find things like that in the same line, and some companies do offer them. So, kind of moving into how I studied, I agreed a lot. I was actually listening to the presenter before me, Kenroy. I definitely agreed with him where it's really important that you don't think to yourself, oh, I don't understand this, I'll understand it later when I research. if you're going to do that, you have to then try to understand it as soon as possible, because the longer you take is the harder it's going to be. And if you do it right away, you might realize that, hey, I don't get this. I need some extra help in this. And that's perfectly fine. And you have access to your peers, you have access to your lecturers, you can email them, you can, well, when we were in face-to-face, you could go and see them, and hopefully we'll get back to that. But if you don't understand it, you might need some help. And it's better to do that from earlier, because then they can say, okay, remember when I said this in the lecture? And you'll actually remember it, because the lecture was yesterday as opposed to a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, when you're now getting to it. In terms of actual study tips, when I was studying, I found it, I find that studying is unique to people, but there's a few things that tend to help you out no matter what. Trying your best to, I know, the current times can make things very difficult, but trying your best to get into a quiet spot where you can focus on studying, that's a major one. And as well as, I'm sorry about this. So, as is customary, apparently my cat has decided to go on my table and mess with my stuff, and now she's gone. I'm so sorry about that. But yes, trying to find a quiet area to study is really important. Trying to understand what best helps you to focus. Very few people actually focus with music. A lot of people say that they focus with music. Very few actually do. I know that myself, I couldn't stand, and this is a tip that I learned. Your mileage may vary. It works for me. I know it makes my girlfriend fall asleep when she tries it. I can't stand the absolute silence, so you listen to white noise, just static. I would put in earphones and I would go on YouTube, look up static, and just have that playing. And having that just ambient sound helped me to focus, because it wasn't this absolute silence that was almost unnerving, but it wasn't anything to distract you. It wasn't, lyrics and beats and rhythms that would distract you. That's kind of what I did. That was one of my tips. And other than that, it's really is, just try not to. I find a lot of people are like, oh, it's exam week, I need to start studying. That shouldn't be it. You should be studying from before. You should be reviewing the lectures. You should be getting the information in your head. And then when exams, start to approach, that's when you're saying, okay, now I'm going to go over what I've already done, like what I've already got in my head. I'm going to go over it to make sure it's correct. The only other thing I can think of that really helped me was that you should really try to practice taking the exam. So you can, a lot of the time, if you look at UWI's library or the like, you can find past paper questions or the like, or you can contact lecturers directly and they can maybe give you an example of like past paper questions. And when I say practice doing the exam, I mean sit down, put yourself in the same kind of situation that you're going to be in taking the exam. So, back when it was face-to-face exams, face-to-face versus online, it's going to be similar. You're not going to have access to, your books. You're going to be sitting down. You're going to be doing the 4 or 3 to 4, depending on the exams, questions. Get them ready. Sit down, write them out as if you were taking the exams. Give yourself the time limit. Give yourself the 2 hours, I believe, usually 2-hour time limit. Practice writing each of the papers. And it's important because even if you have it in your head, getting it on the paper takes practice. It's a skill. Like being able to write the essays is a skill. And like any skill, you have to practice that skill. And a lot of the lecturers will actually be willing to read your practice essays. If you send them to them, they will actually read through and give you feedback. But even if you're not able to get a lecturer to look at it and give you feedback, what you do is after you've written it, leave it for a day, 2 days, go back and then read through it yourself. Because you'd be surprised. A lot of the stuff that we think is making sense when we're writing it in the moment, because there's so much going on in our heads and our brains are oftentimes faster than our hands. They're always faster than our hands almost. So a lot of the time you're like, yeah, this is making sense. This is flowing well. This is where, because you're thinking of it. But when you go back and read it a day, 2 days later, and this goes for labs as well, it just goes for anything that you're writing. When you go back and read it, you might realize I didn't really explain that as clearly as I thought I did, or this structure doesn't flow as well as I thought it flowed. So practicing for the exams, like trying to actually say, sit down, do it as you would do it in exams, is really good practice. I mean, it just, even for people who think that, yeah, I'm good with writing essays, a lot of the times just the exam situation of I'm going to write the exam, I have to sit down and be quiet for 2 hours, makes them nervous and makes you forget things. But when you're used to that kind of scenario, again, it's a skill, and it's almost, exams are almost like a performance. Well, they are a performance. They're evaluating your performance. So you need to practice. You need to practice. You need to get yourself in that situation, used to that situation, and that's really going to help you with the exams. So I've gone through my exams, well, my undergrad exams at least. I graduated in 2017. I started in 2014. So 15. Right. So yeah. And right now I'm doing my undergraduate degree. I'm doing my postgraduate degree. I went straight from undergraduate into postgraduate. Again, it's because I had known from before that this was what I wanted to do. Like Kenroy before me, though, I did do that undergrad research project. That is, I mean, right now, because of how things are, they're not having it. Hopefully, when the world returns to normal, you'll be able to have the opportunity to do that course. That course is really important. You learn a lot in that course. You learn a lot of from being in the practical experience of being in a lab, which is the advice that I would give to somebody who is looking to get into this field. Because if you can, I mean, I know things are crazy right now, things are difficult, but finding a way, if you can, to volunteer at a lab or be involved at a lab, you're just going to learn a lot from the people who are already doing it, even if it's just to watch kind of how a lab, like, try your best to find something, whether you're volunteering or something along those lines, especially when things open up again. You have the ability you can ask the lecturers if they need help in their labs as a volunteer. You can, again, if you are doing the undergrad research project, that's going to give you a lot of experience and help you out a lot. But trying to get involved because not only does it give you the skills, but it also gives you those links that Kenroy was talking about. Because, you might impress your lecturer with your skills, and then when they're talking to somebody else who's looking for somebody to do something, the lecturer might say, I had somebody in my lab before that was really good, things along those lines. And it might help to, links, socializing, networking. It actually helps. So yeah, so right now I'm in the postgraduate program at UWI. Like Kenroy said, there's a lot of other postgraduates across the world that you can get into. And again, you can look for scholarships to try to get those. I know UWI, even if you are at UWI, they do often have like exchange programs where you go and do cross, because in research, it's great when it's multifaceted. So disciplinary and multiple different universities involved and all that stuff. People love that stuff because it shows that a lot of work went into that project. So yeah, I think that's most of the stuff I wanted to go through. A lot of the stuff I was going to go through, Kenroy had mentioned. And as for, just the last thing, as for what's life's been after since I graduated, one thing that this was really interesting, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but it affected kind of me and kind of other people that I knew, especially so this would apply mostly for people that go straight into postgrad, from undergrad at UWI, which is that you're going to start your postgrad life before you graduate, because school starts in September and then graduation is November. And there was this weird feeling of almost detracting from, like, it didn't feel like graduating was something to be celebrated, because I was still like in school, still, learning, still going for another degree. And it's important that no matter what, guys, graduating is an accomplishment. It's something that you worked hard for. It's something that you put a lot of time into, and you should be proud of that. You should be proud. And even though, yes, like Kenroy said, it's if you want to continue further, you're probably going to want to do some kind of postgraduate work. It's still not insignificant that you got your undergraduate degree. It's still important, it's still impressive, and you should definitely still be proud of it. So I can't really talk much to the workspace because I'm still in my postgraduate degree. I'm not near to finishing. COVID has slowed down a lot of things for a lot of people. But so and when you're in undergrad, when you're in postgrad, especially earlier, like when you're still doing a lot of the work, you really don't have a lot of time to be doing other stuff. It's pretty difficult. You want to dedicate yourself to your project. So yeah, that's I can't really talk about the work stuff, although Kenroy mentioned it before, and there's a few things. But other than that, yeah, I think that's most of the stuff I wanted to go through. I'm not sure if there's any questions that anybody has. I'll try my best to answer.
Yes, there's one from Brianna Carpenter. Yes, love that moderator. Love that.
Does the university have an internship program that could assist us with? It doesn't directly have any kind of internship program, but a lot of the lecturers have been involved with outside of the university as well, whether they directly worked outside of the university, or they worked with people outside of the university, or people that are currently working outside of the university used to work with the university. So if you're interested in finding it, a good way would be, again, because that's the thing, you guys do have links. Your lectures are kind of your first link, and you can get through with them. So there's no direct internship program. The closest thing would be the undergraduate research project. But unfortunately, there's no direct internship program at the moment. Maybe some studious students will try to start it.
That's a hope, that's a dream, that's a prayer. Anybody have any more questions? For those of you who are in second year, I'm thinking you're still the TA, one of the people marking our
Me?
terrible labs.
I am. I'm
They'll know
marking.
you. They'll know
Right
you.
now,
They'll
I'm in a third year course. So a third year.
Or course,
Yes.
of course. And so, guys, you'll get to hear his lovely voice more and more. So, any question, get familiar. This is how you create a links, He will be leaving. So, let him know your name like Georgine and Jordan does. Let him know your name. These
Yeah,
are the
don't be
people
afraid
who
of
are.
annoying people, because when you annoy us, that's when we recognize your name. But if you can annoy us in the right way, then that's good.
Yes,
I saw
that's
somebody
always it.
asking what the average time span in years for postgraduate was. So at UWI, when you go into postgrad at UWI, you start with there's the MSc and there's the MPhil, which is Masters of Philosophy or Masters of Science versus Masters of Philosophy. And when you start, the typical range that they want is 2 to 3 years. In research, that's for the masters. In research, a lot of things can happen that can extend that time. Hypothetically speaking, a global pandemic could happen, and that could extend time, or all that stuff. Typically, 2 to 3 years for the masters. And then at UWI, what you can do in both courses is, instead of accepting the master's degree, you can upgrade to a PhD. So what happens is you do your project, you write up your thesis, and then you decide, I'm going to try to extend this project. So you apply for an upgrade, a PhD upgrade. You do a presentation, they read it. Most of the time you're going to get it, because in research, especially when you're going for your master's or master's/PhD, you're working very closely with your supervisors. And so they're kind of not going to say, hey, they would say, hey, I don't think you're ready to upgrade yet. So usually by the time they say you can upgrade, you're going to get the upgrade. Once you've upgraded now, you're going to have to add on more to your project, depending on how much you've already done versus depending on which route you want to take the project. You add on, you write up, and then you would submit it as a PhD. And that part can take another 2 to 3 years. So on a good day, or on a good series of days, you're looking at 4 years, somewhere between 4 to 6 years, to get a PhD. If you're just going for the masters, it's probably closer to 2 to 3 if everything goes well.
Okay, Olivia Williams, your question is up.
Why did you start postgrad in Jamaica and not overseas? What were the factors? There's a few factors. Some of the, I mean, one thing is that I already had a life set up. This is for me. I had a long-term girlfriend at the time, and we were both here. And she had a good stable job. So we that was one of the things that made me want to stay here. Another thing that made me want to stay here is genuinely, I mean, I really like Jamaica. This is where I'm from, right? So I like Jamaica. I think that it's a good. I don't think there's a lot wrong with it, but there's a lot wrong with multiple countries. In terms of specifically academics, UWI actually has really good lecturers. A lot. I mean, I'm not saying that other places don't, but our lecturers actually know what. Okay, no, I don't want to say they know what they're talking about as if other lecturers don't. But UWI does have quite good lecturers, and being local, being local, there's just a lot fewer barriers than when you go abroad, because there's all sorts of like cultural and communication barriers that can happen when you go abroad. Like there's pluses and minuses to going abroad, because like some of the pluses are, for example, more resources obviously abroad. But what might be a minus for a lot of people is like lack of support system, or just cultural differences that can cause difficulties, in general. So it's really a personal decision. And finances can come into it as well, because you might get a scholarship, it might cover your tuition, it might cover the flight out there, it might cover your board, but it might not cover food. You know what I mean? So at that point you might have to look at, for example, maybe getting a job on campus. So there's a lot of stuff to consider that comes down to really personal about and also just in terms of sometimes what research is being covered. Sometimes at UA, for example, what you want to research might just not be being done, and you have to look abroad somewhere where it is being done. Or you want to look at a specific group of people that are not really available here in Jamaica. So suppose, this is just an example. Suppose you wanted to do a comparative study about the rates of cancer in different ethnic groups. Well, Jamaica is very, very heavily a Black population, so you might not be able to get a lot of that information on other ethnic groups. So you might want to go somewhere else that has more of a mix of people. So there's a lot of reasons why you may or may not want to stay or go. And it's a really loaded question that would take a lot of time to answer. But that's just some of the general stuff. What made you decide what to research for your project? Like I mentioned before, I was always interested in medicine, the medical field. And so but I knew that I would not be able to deal with patients. So I always was interested in cancer research. So I think it kind of comes down to that. What major area interests you? In my case, it was medical research. In other places, for other people, it might be something along the lines of like, I don't know, alcohol production, things like that. Mine was medicine, and then you kind of narrow it down in the field. And I was like, okay, well, what specifically am I interested in? And, there's all sorts of options. There's, you could research viral illnesses, you could research bacterial pathogens, you could research fungi. I would never do that because I hate them. But so I was more interested in cancer, though, because I think it's really fascinating how varied it is. I think it's fascinating how it manifests differently in different people individually, how it manifests differently in different ethnic, because there's a heavy genetic component. And, genetics has always been a really interesting topic. So that was kind of how I leaned towards cancer in general. Getting into prostate cancer, again, that was by nature of where I am. So prostate cancer is the highest incident rate of cancer among men in Jamaica. And it's also very high in the world, but also men of African descent tend to have higher rates of prostate cancer than men of Caucasian descent. And that was another interesting genetic thing wise that, really pushed to be like, okay, it's a good idea to research prostate cancer here, and I was staying here. So it's a variety of factors that feed into what exactly you want to research, from sample availability to what you're interested in. But it's really important, guys, to pick something that you're interested in. I know I did the undergrad research project, and I did it with Professor Roy. Not sure how many of you know her, but she's very into plants and plant viruses, and she does a lot of genetic components. And the stuff that I learned from her was invaluable, like the techniques of performing the experiments, how to write up the experiments, how to write up the thesis. All of it was super interesting. All of it was amazing and incredible. However, I hate plants. I realized I could not stand plants. I think they're incredibly boring. Not to knock people that research plants. I think it's important that you do, but personally, I hated it. And I knew then that you can't just go into something just to go into it, or just because it's available. You have to be interested in it. You have to have a desire to learn more about it, because you're making the information. You're finding out the information that other people are going to be researching. So the stuff that you're making in your research are the stuff that undergrads years from now are going to be learning. So there's not a lot of it's going to be that you have to want to do it. Are there any more?
Okay. I would like to thank you, Mr. Harsham, for that. We appreciate your time. I know that you have to go, and that's why we made you second, sir. And
Thank you.
if you want to come and hang out with us again, the Biochemistry Society, always have our meetings every other Thursday at 2. We'll send you a link, sir. We'll send you a link. And that is all. Thank you. Alrighty, moderator. Do no more questions? I don't think we have any more questions. Okay, thank you.
I do see one that I'll touch on quickly before I
Okay.
go. How hard is it
Okay.
to do a double major? It depends, but it's usually pretty hard. I'm gonna be honest, especially like if you're double majoring. Sometimes double majoring within a department can be difficult because just because depending on the courses, they may clash. Normally, courses, they try to make courses within the same department not clash. But if it's not a course that's required for the same degree as another course, it can happen at the same time. So double majoring can be difficult. And if it's outside, for example, like I know a lot of people double majored with in my year with, or not a lot, but some people double majored with chemistry. It's tough. It is what if you're doing one major now, take that work and multiply it by 2.5, because it's not just doubling the work, because it's one thing to do one major and it's one thing to do another major. It's another thing entirely to do them both at the same time. So it's tough, but it's also rewarding because you get that information. So yeah.
Okay, the people want your email or contact. No contact information.
Well, it's just my name at gmail.com. So it's DerekHorsham@gmail.com. And if my name is on screen, you can, I think I wrote it correct. Yeah. So it's DerekHorsham@gmail.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much for your time again. Our next presenter is going to be coming right behind you. Thank you. Alrighty. To introduce our next presenter, we have our secretary. His name is Dejan, and he'll be taking over for me right now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next presenter is one I am quite close with. He is a wonderful educator who is passionate about his job of fostering the young minds of upcoming doctors, nurses, engineers, researchers, scientists. And, one such is me, of course. This is why it is my humble pleasure to introduce Mr. Kevin Donaldson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. Dejan, thank you for inviting me. Everyone can see me, everyone can hear me clearly? Hello? I'm not sure, but you can see me. Can hear me clearly? All right, awesome. So my name is Kevin Nelson. I am a graduate of the Biochemistry Department, yes. But I don't want to start there. Let me start where I am currently and then I'll backtrack. So currently I am a teacher. I am a senior teacher and I'm the block supervisor at my school at St. Jago High School. I start there because many persons think that as a teacher it's because you don't have a job or you didn't get a job, that's why you are here. For me, while I was doing biochemistry, while I was at university, for me it was, I wasn't sure. I just simply said to myself, loved biology, loved chemistry, and I said to myself, "Whoa, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do." But the difficult question that we fail to understand and fail to ask ourselves or to answer is that, do we really love this, or do we feel safe doing this? For me, I did it because I was good at bio, good at chemistry, and I did it, and I carried myself through to finish the degree. However, finishing my degree, getting a little opportunity to work in a lab for a moment, I realized I didn't want to do that. That wasn't where I wanted to go. I felt horrible. I was like to myself, why am I even here? So I kept struggling, worrying, thinking about, okay, where should I go? And then one, I got the opportunity to actually demonstrate a lab to some students. While I was there, I was energetic, I was fun, I was having the best of time. And I realized, whoa, but why didn't I do education? Why wasn't I in this field? So I looked at myself and said, okay, Kevin, this is where you can go. I started to plan my life now. I said to myself, okay, cool. Maybe I can do another degree or start over. But luckily, I didn't have to get another first degree. I realized I could have actually now simply entered the classroom with a first degree. Then I can get some training in education. That's exactly what I did. Currently, right now, I love my job. I as Dejan can attest, I talk very passionately about science, about biology, about chemistry. I teach my students. I explore the world with them. I see the science in their eyes, and I love it. It's for me, it's where I find my inspiration, my motivation. It's for me, it's what I see myself doing, seeing the students simply interact and being involved and being able to know, simply know, understand something after I have explained or I have demonstrated something to them. It gives me that little drive that said, okay, Kevin, you can do this, you can continue. And I, in the profession now about maybe 4 or 5 years, but yet still I have moved up the ladder a couple of times, because from where most teachers start to where I am right now, person that's okay, why is he moving up the chain so fast? Yes, no, but the thing is that it's when you love your job and when you are in love with what you do, it's very easy for you to simply move up where you are. Because I am now the youngest senior teacher at my school. First time I am in a school of 110 teachers, and I'm the youngest one in a senior position here. So what you find is that, I use biochemistry as my stepping tool and as my stepping stone, in the sense that, I speak freely about the sciences. I am able to now encourage students. I have persons to now say, guess what, you can go here. So I am now a science counselor, in a sense. So any student who is there, who is desirous, or who is just even thinking about going into the sciences, for me, what you find now is that now the students come to me and say, "Sir, I want to do this, I want to do that," and it feels very good when they come to me, and it feels and I feel very enthusiastic to explain, to know state, to know go beyond the call of duty, to know let them understand and give them the different opportunities, whether it is scholarship, whether it is recommendations, whether it is just simply an additional class, or just simply tutoring them in the different disciplines. The part of being a teacher, it actually embodies you embodies me now simply now actually exploring all of what I did. So the Krebs cycle, the Calvin cycle, all of these things that I learned and that I covered while we doing biochemistry now, I now have a better understanding, a better grasp, and I also know assist my students. I have students or students in first year, second year, third year now who still come and say, "Sir, okay, I got this assignment. Can you assist me?" And for me, I think that is now where the love comes in. That is now where I said to myself, "Yo, this really makes sense," and I'm really happy I did biochemistry. So that is my little story right there. It's not nothing big and fancy, but I can tell you, biochemistry really actually made the big difference for me. I'm not a, I love to talk, but I don't want to just talk away. So as it relates to my current educational qualifications now, I loved what I did, so therefore I went back to UWI again to further my studies. I did masters in science education, and I did some postgraduate studies in education and sciences. So I am actually still in my discipline. I'm still learning more. I'm still garnering more about the discipline, and I also now see myself simply now I want to get to the PhD level, but I'm thinking about how can I mix the sciences at the PhD. So I'm thinking maybe about some maybe science education or some science masterclass or something like that. But for now, I have my masters. All right, compatible, happy what I do, love what I do, and I'm here. So any questions for me right now? Thoughts for me right now?
Any questions, guys? Let me see it in the comment section. This is now all your burning questions, all the questions that you want to have answered. Now is the time. I love the passion in your voice, sir. I love the passion in your voice. You can tell when a teacher is good when,
Thank you,
how
thank
he
you.
presents himself. I have a chemistry teacher just like that, sir. Chemistry teacher. She's doing her PhD, sir. You
Yeah,
guys could link
awesome.
up.
Yeah,
Elaine
that's
Williams. She did
Elaine
she
Williams, that's
made
her name?
yes,
From
sir.
Montreal High School for Girls. I
Yes,
know her.
sir.
I know her. I
Yes,
know
sir. Love that, sir.
I
Love
know
that.
Elaine. I know her. She was
Find them.
actually in my master's class. So therefore, yes, we were in the same class together. She just started her PhD before me, but yeah, give it
Yes.
some time. I'll get there soon. It's just that I think I want to spend some time traveling the world first. So give me some time, and then I will simply jump to my PhD soon. And I
Okay,
always
sir.
encourage my students to simply science is not an in the box thing, it's an out of the box thing. So never think or feel that you have to just simply stay in the lab. You can travel, you can explore, you can do the most as it relates now to what it is that you are studying. So yes.
Yes, yes, sir. For people who are in the hearing of my voice, I know that also because I have a lecturer called Dr. Singh Wilmot, and she's
Yes,
another
yes, I
educator.
know.
Yes, sir. You know everybody.
I
I
know, I
know.
know
Love
her. I
that.
know her. I went.
And
She was my lecturer too. I've been there. Well, as you can see, well, I look very bushy now because I was a barber, but I am relatively young, so I am not that old. So yeah, I have been there at UA not so very long ago. Yes,
okay, sir. I see some questions here for your ready up. Olivia
yes.
was the first one off the bat.
Hi, Olivia.
Olivia Williams. Her question is right here.
How hard was it to decide into education? I think it wasn't hard. For me, it was being honest with myself and simply choosing, did I love the lab or did I love people? I loved people, but I also love the sciences. I love talking about the sciences. I love simply empowering the sciences. So for me, deciding education was the next what was the best thing that I could do, because I could not be living the best of both worlds. I can simply be living my science dreams and also be simply imparting that knowledge on other person and also encourage them to now simply explore the sciences too. So it was living the best of both worlds for me.
Okay, we have another question from Mitali Militon. That is my secretary, my other secretary.
It wasn't difficult, or the truth to be told, it's not difficult. It's one of the easiest countries to enter education from, as it relates to Jamaica. You enter the system as a quote unquote what you call a pre-trained teacher. So when you enter as a pre-trained teacher, well, everybody that wants to know is that, are you a teacher? Yes, you're a teacher. You just simply know you are not paid at the qualified standard. So therefore, you are paid at a lower rate, or at a lower monthly salary than the person who is trained. So entering, you enter now as a pre-trained teacher. You have to now simply now become trained, and then you will now get a more competitive salary. So yes, you can enter, but the thing is that now entering without the training is, if you're not passionate about it, you will become overworked, and you will become overwhelmed. Luckily for me, I was very excited, so it never really phased me as much. So yes, you can enter. However, you and for me, as young people always say, do not stop where you are. Enter as a pre-trained. Right now, I have done my I'm a trained teacher. I have my master's. I am a senior teacher. I am there. So don't stop where you are, right? And even right now, I'm studying. So don't stop where you are, because if it's a case where you stop where you are now, what you find happening is that now your salary will not change. You will not, because persons will now start to request you or want you to work for them. So therefore, even though you're at a school, other principals can now say, "Yo, more him," or them can say, why don't come teach here, do this here. So what you find happening is that you become more marketable. And I can tell you, my network is very, very strong, very, very. If I want to leave right now, go somewhere else, I am trained, I am certified to go anywhere where I want to go. If I will, I sure, maybe soon, even maybe tomorrow, who knows? Yeah. What did you have in mind before you graduated from the person? Honestly, I just still want to finish UWI. I'm not gonna lie. I just didn't want done with UWI. I just wanted a degree. I was stressed out. I was tired. I was miserable. Love what I was doing, but those 3 hour labs, 5 hour labs were killing the hell out of me. I was dying. I was dying in those labs. However, I love them, I love the lab, but I was dying, because when I look at my colleagues, my friends that were in suicide, that were in other disciplines, they had simply a free day, while I had simply to sit in chemistry labs for 5 hours from morning to till when at night. All I fed on for 3 years was just simply juicy, right? If you're in biochem, if you're in SciTech, well, biochem moving on, but if you're in SciTech, juicy is your life, juicy is where you live. So for me, I think the degree really the degree really gave me the opportunity to question my choice of biochemistry. So I questioned, was this what I want to do? Will this be what I want to be doing for the next 4 years, 5 years, 6 years of my life? So it gave me the opportunity to now think, and I realized that yes, I love this. I love bio, I love chemistry, but this is not necessarily what I want to keep doing. I don't want to be in the lab. I understand the lab. I have very, very steady hands. However, I realize that I want to interact. I realize I want to actually talk more, to interact with people more. And I think that for me was how I simply moved from thinking about what I wanted before I graduated to after I graduated. So it's a case now where you have to think about who you are as a person, think about what you want as a person, and also go for your passion, because nobody can tell you what your passion is. So if you get a 4.0 GPA and you're just simply good at it, but that's not your passion, this is not your passion. So your GPA doesn't say that this is my passion. You have to find your passion, and you have to know love what you do. Yes. Sir, share some of your links. Links for what? Links for jobs, links for scholarships, links for what really do you want links for? Because links mean everything in this country. So for scholarships, my number one picks are if you are a science student, right? You have to ensure that you maintain your GPA at least to 3.2, 3 point, at least 3. 3.0 is where it makes sense in the sciences, and that is truth. 3.0 now will now get you into the door in many spaces. So you simply now get your 3.0 GPA, whether it's first year or second year. When you have that GPA now, you simply know there are bursars. The first place you need to know first is to know student services, know the person over there by their first name basis. Student services now have all links for the scholarships. If you know the lady, if you know that nice lady over there, I can tell you, you will get something, right? That's the first thing. Second thing you have to know, look within your industry. Look who are the players in biochemistry. Look who are the players who are the button pushers in the discipline. So the SRC, the Bureau of Standards, the Apiton, the Rhea Nephew. Look at who are the pushers and who are the top marketers of your discipline, right? Because what you find happening now is that those places are most likely to give scholarships for persons within the discipline. Then you have the Ministry of Education. The banks are very popular. You have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You have to now think about all these scholarships because this money is there. I'm not a politically minded person. However, note, as a young person, as a young individual in school, you're a member of parliament, you should know the person. They have a key link in the chain. They have access to every business person within the constituency, and they can now direct you, and they can also grant you assistance. When I was going to university, yes, when I was going to university, first and foremost, I'm never afraid to ask. I'm never afraid to ask anybody because I cannot get my school fee. So what I did, I asked my MP, I asked some businessmen in my area, I asked everybody. Yes, was I successful in some? Yes, some no. However, I got assistance. So it's a case now where you have to ensure that you can have some my links. You have to create your own links because my links won't work for you, right? If I want somebody tomorrow to come and present or don't donate some vehicles, I can make a call. That works for me. What will work for me will not work for you unless you work those spaces. You have to work those spaces for yourself. Get known. When you're in the class, ask a question, read, let the lecturer know you, get the lecturer to know you. Because one thing that you have to learn is when you get to the masters or those levels, you will always need a lecturer's recommendation, right? And if you don't have a lecturer's recommendation, I can tell you that scholarship application will not make any sense. And the lecturer will not write it if the lecturer don't know you. You have to know, get the lecturer to know you, get the persons to know you, because in return, you are helping yourself. So in class, speak up, ask questions, get the lecturer to know something now. So this person has so much potential. Don't just sit down and say, okay, then, because getting the high grades don't mean lecturer will know you. Get the lecturer to know you for the right reasons. Ask the intellectual, ask the questions that now look on a global perspective, right? Because one thing that I can tell you, all my lecturers know me. Every one of my lecturers know me by name. And the reason why, because I know that, guess what? I am looking at 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If I want a recommendation for a scholarship to go anywhere around the world, I can now ask my say, sir, doc, can I get this letter, please? I am on a first name basis with a lot of my lecturers. So you have to understand, right? Which major would you say is the most diverse? All medias are diverse. It's just what you do with it. Biochemistry for me, will be a bit biased because biochemistry for me was what I use and know and navigated my spaces. Biochemistry now shows you, but I also love biotechnology because biotech for me is where the globe is where the world is headed. There's also biomechanics. There's also computer bio. There's the age of majors being diverse now is more. Every major now can bring you somewhere if you put it to the right use. And what I realize more is that we we fail to understand that a first degree just simply means that you are trainable. A first degree means that you are trainable, and you are capable of doing more. That's what your first degree means. You are trainable and you are capable of doing more. So don't take your first degree as okay, I have arrived. You know, reach nowhere. All of my friends have a first degree, right? So guess what? You're not reach nowhere right now. You have to understand that the first degree means that you are capable of doing more, right? So you have to understand now that this is not where you want to go and it's not where you are putting yourself forward. What other advice would you give to young persons who are interested in science education? Um, learn programming, learn programming, learn programming, learn programming. Right now, I'm learning programming right now, not because I require it in my job, but I'm looking 5 years, 10 years down the line. A part of being a good educator and a good scientist is for you to be able to now simply do something called environmental scanning. Look at the world, look at where the globe is headed, right?
Sir,
Yes,
for
yes,
oh,
yes.
sorry about that.
Yeah. So you have to look at where the world is headed. The world right now is headed into ICTs, high tech, AI, artificial intelligence. Look at where the world is headed and get in line, right? Because for me, I will not let technology, I will not let the world leave me behind. So for me, right now, I invest in my devices. I buy the computer. I buy the program. I'm learning the program. I'm learning computer sciences. I'm learning how to do programs and how to make apps, because that is now where the world is headed. So, as a practitioner and as a person who is desirous of going into the field, you you have to start learning ahead of your time. Don't wait until everybody entering university have to do programming before you start learning programming. Learn programming. Look at the environment. Green energy is now a thing. Climate change is now a thing. Align yourself with that. So if you can do computer science, green engineering, biochemistry, biotechnology, and mix and put those in one degree, you will be perfect. You will be perfect. So you have to understand, as a person, you have to market yourself to the world you want to live in. Get ready. You understand? So get ready. Yes.
Thank you so much. Your words of wisdom was appreciated. If you want to hang around with us, we have a lot more presenters coming in, sir. But we're going to take a little break. We're going to
No
call your
problem.
favorite teacher back, your favorite student back in, and he's going to give us a little icebreaker to refresh the YouTube viewers and see if they were listening. If they
All
were
right, no
listening, thank
problem.
you again, sir.
All right, no problem.
Well, guys, you have heard three of our multiple presenters, but where you heard them, but were you listening to them though? In front of me, I have some questions, and we are about to head into speed round. It's not supposed to be long. It's just a couple. How much questions? One, two, three, 8 quick questions, speed rounds. And us here in the Biochem Society, we always have our prizes and surprises full. No? So not worry about that, man. Um, the answers for the prizes and surprises though will be it honestly who catch you techie. So the first person with the right answers in the comment section yeah, man, uno get it. You get me? And yeah, man, uno get a little prize at the end, you see me? Yeah, man. So, are you guys ready? I'm gonna head over to the YouTube comments to get it live. Okay. Are you guys hearing me perfectly? So I can begin? All right. Tracy said ready. Let us begin. Question 1. What grade did Mr. Kenroy get on his research project? Were you listening to our first presenter? Let's see who was listening. What grade did he get on his research project? Come on. It's easy. Oh, yes, sir. We have aggressive tweeter getting the first answer off the bat. Let's go. Come on, aggressive tweeter. Good start. Like you work for the prize, man. All right, man. We'll see how much more you can get. Question 2. Question 2. What is Mr. Derek Hersham's current research on? Question again is, what is Mr. Derek Hersham's current research about? Oh, Miss Graham. You say you now get left behind? All right, Miss Graham got that one. Sorry, aggressive tweeter, you were a bit late. Don't worry, man. We have enough more question food. Huh? Question number 3. Of the 3 presenters we have had so far, only one of them has finished their postgraduate degree. Which of them has finished their postgraduate degree? I'll repeat the question. Of the 3 presenters we have had so far, only one of them has finished their postgraduate degree. Which one of them has finished their postgraduate degree? Come on, man. Well, Tony, it's a serious now. Come on, Tony with 2 and aggressive tweeter with 1. Next question. Let's go, guys. What is the name of Mr. Kenroy's business? If you recall, he stated he had a business with a couple of his friends. What is the name of this business? Right. In writing down here, we did have a feeling say, oh wait, somebody get it. I mean, I said nobody wouldn't get it because it's a long time. Well, only not pay attention, man. I love that. I love that phone. Who first get it? Shamil Miller. What? Yeah, go on, girl. This question now. Question 5. Right. So now for some minor details. This one wasn't said, but was it said? I believe it was said, honestly. But what kind of pet did Mr. Derek Horsham have? Hint, it ran across his desk. Oh, Armendia. Yeah, man. I say you want some of the prizes too. Yeah, man. Everybody wants some of the prizes because you know, say we here give good prizes. No, yeah, man. See, now everybody get it. Boy. Oh well, only one person can get the points. Next question is our last presenter, Mr. Kevin Donaldson, is the youngest senior teacher at his school. Approximately how many teachers did he say was on staff at his school? Yeah, man, I never hear that one there. Never hear that one there, man. Can just nope, it's not 150. Yes, Mr. Damel Swaby. Is that Mr. or Mrs.? Sorry, Miss. Well, Mr. Swaby, it got it correct. Wow, Armedia, over 100, really? You have to be more specific than that. The correct answer is 110. Why? All right. So far we have Tonian in the lead. Oh, but at just 2 points, like people with the 1 point people, them can come catch up, man. Why? Come on, man. Come on. Question number 7. Guys, the questions are almost coming to an end. If answer up, man, so you can get the prize. Question number 7. Which of his years did Mr. Kenroy Wallis make the dean's list? Come on, this one pretty easy. Which of his years at UWI did Mr. Kenroy Wallis make the dean's list? I mean, aha! Well, aggressive theater said, wait. Tony not lead by 1 point. Let me get my point, man. Yes, aggressive tweeter. His final 3rd year at UWI, he finally made the dean's list. Yeah, man. You see, yeah, man. Guys, the last question. Come on. The last question. Well, the last. Maybe. You never might know. I might fling in a bonus question where we're 2 marks, just to get competition stirring. The last question is, what kind of noise does Mr. Derek Horsham like to hear? What kind of noise? He said he didn't like complete silence, but he also didn't like, music with lyrics and rhythm. He liked a specific noise. Tonian. Oh, 2 Tonian. Well, I will take the white noise because I have white noise on my paper. I have both of them actually, white noise and I have static. So I will take the white noise from Miss Tonian Graham. Like yeah. If you say aggressive tweet and I come tie with you, you want your points? You're now in the lead, ma'am. 3 points. Aggressive tweeter in 2nd place. How much question am I telling myself? I have 8. Do I have 8? Do I have 8? Oh, actually, I have 9. So, the bonus question valued at 2 marks, 2 points. 2 points. Ready? Ready. Right? How long did Mr. Kenroy Wallis say he was abroad during his postgrad studies? How long did Mr. Kenroy Wallis say he was abroad? You guys got this. Like, you need to pay attention, man. Oh, we have Royal clutching for the 2 points. He was abroad for 2 years. Wow. Boy, sorry, Royal. Even though you get the bonus 2 points, you never get no other question, right? So you type 2nd with aggressive tweeter. I'm so sorry. But the winner of our prize today, this Alumni Day, is Miss Tonian Graham. Congrats, girl. You did good. See, under that, pay attention, man. Under that, pay attention. Love, love to see it, man. You really love to see it.
Okay. So she's gonna take it over. Shoot. Okay, thank you for that, Dejan. Love that. That icebreaker was good. You know where to find me for my prizes and surprises already, you know. You know to inbox me, PM me. If you're in our Biochemistry Society group, you know where to find me. Love that. Alrighty. So we have two video presenters and we have two past presidents who are coming in to give us a little hype, a little vibe, a little energy. And so we're going to go with our short, very short video presenter. We're going to choose that video first and then try that other one second. Yes, that's the one. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Mr. Baker. I'm a past student of the University of the West Indies, Mono campus, where I studied biochemistry and wanted to minor in physical chemistry or organic chemistry, but I did have to stop doing that because I was doing a lot of work. I was working and I had a lot of things on me, so I have to, work so I can get some money to pay rent and to school me, of course. So that didn't work out. So the chemistry part, although something is missing there, I went on to do biochemistry. Alright, I met some lovely lecturers at the University of the West Indies. Dr. Gallimore, Dr. Irvin, Mark, Lawrence, all of those lecturers. Can't remember all of their names right now, but they helped me out a lot. So I must be grateful. So when I come on to study at the University of the West Indies, I learned science and technology. Although there it was pure and applied sciences, and they change over to science and technology. But once you're in science and technology, you don't have any time to waste. I can tell you that. You don't have any time to waste, especially your major in chemistry. Biochemistry, on the other hand, well, probably I don't know, probably because I set my mind to it. Anything you set your mind to, you guys can do it. But it's not a walkover, I can tell you that. So I went to my lecturers if I have any problem. So if I don't understand the lectures, I go to my lecturer. Or if I get a tutorial paper to do and I don't understand it, I will go to them when they have time, and they will explain it to me, and I will have a better understanding. So I always try and complete my tutorials. That's one of the main things you guys have to focus on, tutorials. Good, so when you can manage your tutorials, and you can get your in your tutorials like 70s or 80s in your tutorials, you're on your way up. If you do it by yourself, you're on your way of passing the course. Good, because some or most times tutorial questions, they are similar to the exam questions. Yes. And my biochemistry experience, oh my gosh, probably because I majored in it, I was dealing with bias and say yes, I love the labs, it was exciting, and testing for bacteria and stuff, I love it. And microbiology was awesome. To remember all of those bacteria names, I love those. Yeah, it was pretty much easy. But biochemistry second year, you guys have to watch out for that course. That course, you have to watch out for that course. Yes. So if you have to go to your lectures for a little bit advice, or if you don't understand something, I would advise you guys to do so and go through watching your tutorials for that. Yes, and I end up have to do some courses because since I'm not majoring in physical chemistry or organic chemistry, I have to go and do some other courses in social science or humanities, and those courses was so easy. So I could have managed my time good, properly. I could have managed my time properly. All right. And now I'm a teacher of chemistry, biology, integrated science. All right. It's okay, but I rather to do laboratory work or go out doing testing, all that of stuff. Yeah, but it's not too late for me, so I would encourage you guys to make sure you attend your lectures and your tutorial session. Those are very important. Not to mention lab. Without your labs, you're going to fail the course. All right. So that's my few words.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. He couldn't be here in person, but he sent a video, and we love that. We have not. I was wondering, should we take that? But we shall. We shall. If you want to stay with us, please stay. There are a lot of valuable information that's being shared, and I don't want anybody to miss anything. So we're going right ahead with Mr. Sheet Gibson's video. And please sit back, relax. She said she'll be in the comment section, so she might be answering your question if you ask. So watch out for that. Thank you so very much.
How are you today? My name is Tashi Gibson, and I am one of the presenters here today. Before I start, I just like to say a special thank you to Tracy and Lewis and the other members of the executive committee. Thank you so much for having me here. It is indeed a pleasure. And for the students who are joining, thank you so much for joining. Tell me how you are. You can type that in the comments. I'll be available in the comment section. So my name is Sashi Gibson, like I said before, but you might be wondering, who am I? Just a girl in the shirt with some grassy background. But if you give me a second, then you will get to know me a little bit more. I've prepared a short PowerPoint for you, just really outlining my UWI experience, talking to you about how the experience was, what it is that I learned, and giving you a few pointers. So let's get into it. So my UWI experience. This experience actually began in 2018. So in 2018, I was a first year student coming in, very optimistic, expecting the best, wanting to do well. You know, you always have those big dreams. And I received the UWI Open Scholarship, which really made the UWI journey a good one because you don't have to worry about paying for your tuition or paying for living on hall. I know that can be a huge consideration. And just a note that there are many scholarships that are available through the Office of Student Financing. What happens is that some years no one applies, they just go and nobody gets them. So when that time comes around again, do try to apply for some scholarships from the Office of Student Financing. So then second year come, first year is, you kind of manage it, difficult, yes. But then second year comes around and you realize that, hey, second year is a different ballpark from first year. You're doing advanced courses. And like the advanced name suggests, it requires advanced efforts. So I was living on Hall, Mary C. Cole Hall. And then, I struck pandemic and I was shifted off into online school. But, you still have to navigate online school. So my degree is in applied chemistry, food chemistry, and general chemistry. So that's what my degree is in. But fortunately, in 2021, I was able to complete that degree. Listen, I'm telling you, when I was at home and I checked SAS and I saw that the degree was awarded, I was like, yes, this is it. I'm done with you. And I know you're sitting there watching and you're wondering, wow, when will it be my time? When will it come? Listen, in 2018, when I look at my ID and it said 2021, I'm like, really? That not come for now, man. And look at it. It's October 2021. My ID expired in August 2021. So just try to enjoy the journey and not worry about when it is that you're going to end. Trust me, your time is coming. So in terms of study tips, but before I get to study tips, you may be wondering what it is that I'm doing currently. So in summer past, as one of my course requirements, I had to complete an internship. So I did my internship at Grace Food Processors and Canning. So at Grace Canning, different things are manufactured there. You're probably familiar with ketchup, tropical rhythms, what else? Ketchup, tropical rhythms, different beans like baked beans, butter beans, stuff like that. So these are processed at Grace Canning. And as a quality assurance officer there, I was in charge of testing the product quality, doing different food tests on it to make sure that it is up to standard and that it is safe, because food safety is really important. While I was there, some of my coworkers actually did their degree in biochemistry. So even though it's quality assurance, there were persons with a biochemistry background there. So currently, I am at Jamaica Red Moon. Recently started less than a month ago. So I'm a quality assurance officer there. And you may be wondering, what is Jamaica Red Moon? Well, Jamaica Red Moon is a cannabis manufacturing company. So it's a medicinal company that produces medicinal marijuana. It's located in Clarendon, and our affiliate company is Canim. Canim is an Australian company. So if you want to find out more about that, you can definitely visit www.canim.com. But quality assurance is really an interesting field. It speaks about standards, making sure that the product or service that you're producing is up to standards, local standards, international standards. You want to make sure that the products that you are releasing is actually safe. If it is a product, it must be safe for consumption. If it's a food, if it is a pharmaceutical, then that means that it has to be safe for the patients who are going to use it. So that's just a little bit about what I do. Now on to study tips. I think you've heard many times about study tips, but the truth is, I think we each individually know what it is that we need to do. So I'm not going to tell you, oh, write out your notes or, record your lectures or anything like that. So I just want to give you the things that you should focus on, like you need to find what works for you. What study mechanism works for you? You know the ones that are out there. Man. You know the study, you know them. If you don't know them, Google them, YouTube them, you can find them. But it's not that one study tip is better than the other. It's just that you have to try them, maybe trial and error, and see which one works for you. So when you find what works for you, you need to stick to it. And there's something called discipline over motivation. I learned this myself. For instance, you have a lab to do that it's going to take you probably 10 hours and it's 11 p.m. in the night and you're tired. Do you have the motivation then to go and do that lab? No, you're human. You don't want to do that lab then. But you have to know that you need to be disciplined and go ahead and do it. So if you set out to do something, you need to complete it. Not because you don't feel motivated means that you can say, oh, I'm not going to do it. So I have right here, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. And that is indeed true. Those small little efforts will add up. If every evening, maybe not every evening, but every other evening, you read over your lectures, you make a little notes, you do your tutorials, trust me, when the exam time comes up, you will know what is happening. You don't want to wait until December morning. You start say, oh my gosh, I need to study. Trust me, you can take it in small little chunks. It's easier to manage than if you're trying to shut down the whole thing one time. Think about it, man. And every year people get this advice and then you don't listen. And then you come down to exam time and you are stressed. And if you're in second year and you did it in first year, you know what I'm talking about. Or maybe you're in first year and you can remember doing this for CTEC or CAPE. It doesn't work as well for university. So please listen to me. Take it one step at a time, one day at a time. Reread your lectures, do your tutorials. It's very important. And for my next point, I say practice, practice, practice. Yes, read the lectures, definitely. Read a textbook, 100%. Go to the University of YouTube. Watch videos that will help you. But in watching those videos, you have to ensure that you cross-reference them to make sure you're getting accurate information. But don't forget to do your practice tutorials and also to do your past paper questions. Because what you'll find is that even if the questions don't repeat, the format in which they are going to be repeated. So being able to do your tutorials and your past paper questions, that's a great indication of whether or not you're ready for the exam. So please, please, please practice, practice, practice. The age-old tale that practice makes perfect is indeed true. It's true. I mean, I know I'm saying this and it sounds good. It sounds good in theory. You have it here on a pretty little screen, me telling you to find out what works for you, have discipline and practice, practice, practice. But like I said, when it comes to 11 o'clock and you're down there, you're tired and you're just like, I've had a frustrating day. I have labs due, I have tests, I have assignments. Probably you have some family stress, your friends are stressed or something, and you just don't want to do it. But the truth of the matter is, you need to do it. You need to remember why it is that you're doing it. What did you come to the University of West Indies for? What are your dreams? Remember that why. Your why needs to be strong and it needs to be powerful. So even when your motivation runs out, you have that discipline and you have that reason that will keep you going. And I believe that you can do it. Listen, hundreds of thousands of people have done it before and you are no different. You can too. Listen, for some of you, less than a year, less than 2 years, less than 3 years, you will be done and it will be over and you'll just look back at it and it's a distant memory. And you'll be looking back at your friends who are studying and you're gonna be like, boy, I recall those days so long ago. But just make sure that when you're looking back, you can smile and you don't have to cry or whine in despair. All right? So that's it for my study tips for you. So in terms of general advice, I just want you to stay positive. In this world, it can be easy to get dejected and want to start feeling pessimistic and like, there is no hope. But trust me, there is hope. There is hope. Once you're alive, there is hope for better. And I want to encourage you to stay positive and stay focused on your goals. Your mindset is extremely important. If you in your mind say, I can't do it, then it is true. So you need to continue believing in yourself, believing in your ability to do it. And for me, I'm a Christian, so I know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And you need to have something that centers you. You need to have something that keeps you focused, keeps you driven, and keeps you going. And my next point is to network. Oh boy, network. How do you network? Trust me, I'm still learning how to do this. But networking, you want to reach out to different people in your field. You have to know what your field is, or know at least something about the field, at least the people who are doing the things in it that you want to do. Search for these people. Maybe you can find them on LinkedIn. Maybe you can find them on Google. And if you go to their website, you're able to find an email, or you can get a number to call the company. Ask for at least a 15 minutes time or something. Or if you can't get 15 minutes, email them stating your interest. Be respectful, be kind, and be genuinely interested in what it is that they are doing. And you may just get a chance, you may just get an in with them. stay connected with your lecturers, stay connected with your peers. It is always important to build healthy relationships because the reality is what you can accomplish by yourself is limited. But trust me, as a team, as a unit, you can accomplish so much more. So always look and strive to build healthy relationships. Research. This ties into the networking. Always research. Listen, you're always going to have to learn and develop. You're going to leave UWI and realize that what UWI does is to teach you how to learn. Because in my new job currently, I'm learning so many different things. On a daily basis, I have to be researching and learning because the truth is, UWI will not teach you all that you need to know in order to be successful in your job. You can't. You have 3 years there, but trust me, just be open to continuously learning and being willing to put in that effort to learn more and current and constantly advance your skills. Now, my last point is an openness. I want you to be open to new possibility. I don't want you to feel like there's only one direction to success or one direction to your goal. There isn't one path. There isn't just one clear-cut path. You may have to take a different route. You may have to go around the corner, go up and down some hill, whatever. It may look messy and zigzag, but be willing and open to trod on that path, because the truth is you may be going on that path and then what you realize is that, hey, I went on this path and I find something else that was even better than what I was expecting. So just be open to new possibilities and know that, yes, you can. Believe in yourself, back yourself, build your relationships. Have fun at UWI. I know it is an online space now, so you can feel disconnected. Perhaps try to do some Zoom study meetings or something. But the truth about it is that your UWI experience is just one small aspect of your life, and you can get through it successfully. I have, many people have, and honestly, I 100% believe that each and every one of you can do that. Thank you so much for listening to me. It has been my absolute pleasure to share my 2 cents with you. Still out here learning, just like you. And I'm willing to connect with you if you are interested. My name is Tashik Gibson. It's Tashik Gibson on LinkedIn as well. So you can message me there or you can send me an email. I check my emails constantly. You should too. So once again, thank you so much. I'm wishing you all the best for the remainder of this semester. And it's October, so you should be for your exam. Okay? Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Okay, I loved that. I personally loved that. You can't get it much better than that. The lady pulled out a whole PowerPoint for you. And I will be dropping that video individually on our YouTube page. So look out for that, guys. We have a lot. And I would also like to note that from last year, we had a list of places where you can start, application here and there in the summer. And you can see any of these places strike your fancy, apply there, and I'll be dropping that document in our group chat. So we're coming down to the last two presenters, and our next one is Big Bud. Big Bud, the Marley Lewis of no relation, and he's our immediate past president, the guy with the swag, the vibes. And he taught me how to do this job that I am doing right now. I couldn't have a better mentor. I tell you, I appreciate all that he has done for me. And I'm so happy to be introducing him to you all. So sit back, relax, and just enjoy, you know. Off to you now, Damali. Off to you.
Uh, everybody, I hear me. People, I hear me. So I know, please and thanks. Somebody takes another comment or some. Alright, and I hear me. Um, Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Damali Lewis. As Tracy just said, I'm the former president, it was just last year, of the Biochemistry Society, right? And Tracy, I talk about mentor and them good thing there. Is it? I just a simple thing still. I just transfer some look a few cents and them good thing there. Funny story, me think say somebody else got present right before me, so I was not, you see me, ready. A good thing, so me that watch it from my tablet and realize. So me hear she said Damali Lewis, me I said, who named Damali Lewis? So I go and say, is it? But alert and thing I'm ready to take on the task. So I'm there right now to talk to for both some local things, alumni day. But first, I just want to talk about alumni day as a tradition. It has been going on for like about 3-4 years now. It's a every year thing. It's a every year type of thing where past graduates, come and them talk and get to share some things with the students and all these type of things because it's important for you to get some a level of certainty, right? Because when we're there and we're there at school and we do this degree and every day we question ourselves, we shut down the book. Is me, we look up to the sky, we cuss and we say, why me I do this? Why me I do this to myself? Is me, and you have a look a breakdown and them good thing there. These are type of things that will help you get through because you need to hear from somebody who has been through it, is me, how them a live after it, a sense of hope. You need that. So having those type of people to come around and to talk to us, it's great. So the initiative is one I hope will continue, right? I'd like to thank all of the presenters for taking the time out to come talk to you guys. It's a big appreciation and thanks to them. Is it because everybody busy and whatnot, but for us to do this and for be able to talk to people, it good, right? I like talking. I like helping people. That's just my thing. I think Mr. Donaldson spoke about it. Just love to teach and them type of thing. There is me. I was just amazed. And you need more people like that in the world, in the science, in this field at UA, right? To make your life better. But anyways, I was told to start by talking about my experience at UA, right? Most of you, which would probably be first years and them type of thing, they are probably second year, wouldn't have like had the face to face experience at UA. You know, years of work from SciTech, we over made for go do a lab, and if we walk come back from mid, we go to SciTech for do our next lecture, which you're always late for. So only have the type of experience. It was something for me very fascinating because the first day when me come at UA, I got lost. I don't know. Me I try to follow about the path to back gate and somehow me end up at the hospital gate. Like me I say, oh, is it yo, me never know this, but me I tell them man, the place is big, place is nice. I enjoyed my face-to-face interaction because I started 2017, right? I started 2017, the first year. Cool. However, I did not pass on to the second semester. So I did one semester in 2017 and I was supposed to do my second semester, but I did not because of some financial issues. So I took a leave of absence and say, oh, we know some other sleep back next year and thing. Come back 2018 September now and change my degree because I was supposed to be doing chemistry degree because when me do Cape, me things I'm a chemistry god, right? So me I say, oh, a chemistry thing I easy. You see me, I come and you come mash this up and turn big chemist. You see me? Roll in high school and start, to say, oh boy, a different ball game this still, but still I take it on, still I try, still I learn. However, my personal reason why I didn't continue with chemistry as a major was because it them say I for the maths. And that does turn me off because I'm not a math person. I am not a math person. Me can't tell you that me and maths not agree. I try it never work out. So I say, oh, most of my friends them will meet at UA. Them had the biochemistry. And I was doing a biochemistry. I was doing what 10-20 in first semester. So I said, you know what, I kinda like this, I bounce with it and plus everybody else I do it, so I just I do it too. And when I was doing um 2014, Biochem 2014, a man spoke to us. He was a lecturer, Dr. God. And him just talk about the whole application of biochemistry. And from that man spoke to me, and I'm like, and I'm reading the content, and I say, yo, like this for true. Like I'm just get develop a love for biochemistry. So anytime you talk to me or something and there's some type of application, you gonna hear them all you talk about the biochemistry aspect behind this. Why this happen? Why is this happening and them things. So I'm always gonna talk about biochemistry because I love it and I understand it and I try to explain it. And that's how I want to study it the moment I get a person try to understand what you're learning. Is it if you can teach it, then you can understand it, and vice versa. So I have to try learn it so you can teach your mother, teach your auntie, teach your cousin, teach somebody. You see me? Your mother cousin and probably and talk tell you say what type of gibberish you talk or something, but try to teach it if you can teach it. Alright? Um so yeah, some second year experience it was good. It was good in a way and then Corona came. I remember that day in the first day, Corona, the first case came here. I was in the lab actually doing a microbe lab. Where the virus and a virus come to Jamaica. How interesting, huh? Yeah, so that just did so just so surprising and that was last day at UWI. And for me personally, I did something that was very dangerous. Well, because everybody are gonna tell you when you just come at you. Try the crit in your first year. Try the crit in your first year. Crit hard, crit hard, crit hard. I did crit in my last semester. Last semester at UA. I mean I tell you, mad me. They never mad me still. They try for mad me, but yeah, me no have a level of unbotheredness. But he did try and may I tell you for the third year persons who are final year students, me know wanna feel it. Me know it feel like say oh when you can't do it and this and that and it like things I said that just because of the anxiety, the anticipation, you see me, the pressure, if you know say this is your last run, and this are it, and everybody asks you when you graduate, and all I can tell them is hopefully next year, which is a great answer because you don't want to tell nobody and then something happen, you see it, so one wallet, man. Me, I tell you, and when you reach over a line, it's going to be, oh gosh, man, celebrations, celebrations. Cool. Right. So, I'm pretty supposed to talk about else. I'm supposed to talk about something else as well. Um, what am I doing now? Damali Lewis is doing something that is not in his field. I can tell you that because reality is having a first degree in biochemistry is very very broad. That means you can work at different places, and that is a downside as well as an upside. Downside because it's too broad, so you're not really specified in a certain things. So it just a work with dedicated for you is not there. So you have to play with a degree, market yourself in a way where you can be affordable or qualified for the job. So that's a downside to it. You definitely, if you really want to be a career person, you have to do your masters, whether doing an MPhil or a masters in science. Currently, I am not doing that right now. Reason being, me want to make some money first before me go back into that, right? So that is my path. But what I want you guys to know and look on is the end goal. Try to figure out the end goal. A person asked me that before. What is my end goal? I couldn't answer at the time because I wasn't sure, right? And it took me some time working and I look at it, and I decided my end goal. My end goal wasn't to be something to be working for somebody like that. My end goal I feel like I have my own company or my own business and them type of thing there. And for being most importantly a lecturer. Because I like imparting knowledge, I like teaching. But something about high school teaching and them type of thing then I really sit well with me. I like the whole lecture thing, you see it. So you have to figure out the end goal. So that's the next advice. So look at the end goal or decide the end goal. Take your time with it. Like ultimately decide because they probably are forced yourself say, oh, I wanted the research and this and that. Research, yeah. But for the what? At the end of the day, what? Where you want to spend rest of your life just easy back and do. Right? You have hopefully a lot of years ahead of you. So you have to look back on that and say, oh, all right, this is what I would want to do. And so yeah, you'd have to do that. Right now, I am at a chemical water treatment engineering type of business. right? So we do water treatment and sell water treatment chemicals, and I am a chemical service technician. That profile is nothing like a biochemistry. It's basically something for engineering, but I have a chemistry background. I did a food processing minor because I have a bachelor's in biochemistry, honors, and food processing minor. So that makes me qualified to work with chemicals and certain things. And most of the places that I go, I visit, are food places like Rainforest, Caribbean boilers, Jamaica boilers. So those are the type of food places I would visit. Anyone does do my chemical service technician thing. It's not a bad job. It's a good paying job as well. And that's anything I would want to talk to you guys about. Like so biochemistry itself now, it no qualify if you're getting a big sum of cash with just the first degree. It just depends on where you work. Where you work, definitely in Jamaica, is always depending upon where you work. One of the biggest hints them for know where you can get some serious cash from a company. If you start with national or some with Jamaica in there. So National Water Commission, National Health Fund, Jamalco, which is the backside company, Jamaica Boilers, anything else with Jamaica, JPS, all those type of places. If you want to make money, some serious level of money, Petrojam, is make serious level of money. You not forget them type of place. But the thing is with them type of place is hard to get in. So links. The place where I'm working right now is links with me there. Just me being me around different type of people, and them hearing about this person, this outstanding person, this humble person, level headed, funny and type of things, and you just don't know how God will go bless you. So you have to just interact with people, being authentic you, right? Being authentic you. And the reality is that an introvert will have always will have the less chances of getting the links, getting the network, the proper network that you need to succeed in life. So if you're an introvert, it gonna be harder. Me not gonna sugarcoat it. You see me, so you know what you need to do. The extrovert them already 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of you. So you have to speak up, you have to talk to people, be authentic you see me, and just trust the process, right? Um and just want to hold on, try to talk to people, always try to talk to a lecturer, an advisor, or somebody. So somebody might can. So I have to always do that. Study tips, I don't really have much because everybody else talk about study tips. What I will say was the whole teaching type of thing. And you study to you feel optimum, your body optimum. So biochemistry, you guys doing biochemistry, you know that there's a time, right? Throughout the day where your body is at peak, your mind is at peak, your body function is at peak. What you should do as a scientist is to study that. Study that. Sit down throughout the day and you study. You find what time makes your body peak, your mind peak, so you can study and focus more. I have a short attention span, so I'm always a zone out, especially in the days. So my time gonna be like sometime in the night where I can focus properly. So you guys need to learn about that. How your body peak, metabolism. That's one of the things as a biochemist you have to know about metabolism. So you have to know about that, read up on that. And we can talk to know about that as well. You see me, I like talking about metabolism and biochemistry. So can do that. So you need to find how the body work to know exact time when the body peak and can study at best, right? And you need people. You can't do it alone as you did in the UAE. Tashik talk about it as well. You can't do it alone. You come and UAE this big place. All odds are against you. Everybody are trying to fight against you. So you need a team, you need people to help you to reach where you need to reach to complete this degree, right? You need people, so you need to talk, you need friends, you need associates to get over it, right? So talk to people, man. And that's one of the reasons why I want face-to-face school to go back, because you guys need to meet people, so you can build relationships and links and networks. So we need that. So that is what I'd have to say. For me personally, if I would want to do the master's program, clinical biochemistry, right, or pharmacology. But as I said, right now, focusing on the money first, then looking to go towards that, because I feel like I have a lot to offer in science. So just gotta trust the process and just go and do it. Right. If you don't have any questions now, only can ask and think. As I feel like I'm talking about most I think them what I want to talk about. So that's my presentation. That's my 3, 4 size cents. Is it? No one talk to me. Think me not the main group. So you can just hit me up and so.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so sorry, Damali, for catching you off guard. Imagine I made the schedule. You'd have never figured. You'd have
Yeah.
never, but you're always on point. Straight facts, guys. No chasers. Straight facts. Um, and one thing that stood out for me is that everybody, your cohort will get the same degree that you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what stands out is your personality. You help to make you hear the term like you wear the clothes that make the clothes wear you. You
Facts.
the degree is a complementary factor of you, and when it's all said and done, you are the one who will be selling yourself to these companies, to these organizations, to these people who you want to be your sponsors for your graduate program. When you walk into the every MP, I have to tell you, every MP has a money set aside given to them from the government that like people from their parish, specifically their parish, should apply or come or write a letter and show their letter of financial something 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 that you can get from SAS or boss, and go there. You be the person, you reach out to these scholarship persons. You A lot of these people, when they get the job, like Tashik, she did not get the degree with honors behind her name yet. It is the links that she had made her get that job. It is her personality that she brought out in the Grace interview, that they said, no, sir, I have to get this girl, you know and it is that same persona that carried her to the other step in her life. So, guys, at the end of the day, it is all on you. Now, thank you so very much, Damali, and our last presenter for the evening. His name is Jordan Edwards, and he has always been there, guys. Always been there, always in our group chat. And he's just, whenever I'm ready to call, he's ready to pick up. And no long ringing, no 4 or 5 ringing. Guys. So I want you to just sit back. This is the last of the last of the last. And if you have any questions, we're here in the comments to reply to them. And the floor is yours, Mr. Edwards. The floor is yours.
All right. Let me know if you can hear me, Tracy.
You're a little bit low. I don't know if it. Speak again. Try again. You're a little bit
Okay.
low. Okay,
Let me
that's good enough.
disconnect.
You're a little bit low. You're a little bit low, but you're audible. You're audible. We're hearing you, but
Okay.
if
All
you
right.
could.
So I'll try to speak a bit
Yes,
louder.
lovely,
Okay.
lovely.
Awesome. So before I begin, I must say, Tracy, that I'm so proud of you and the team. I have been watching and observing, and you guys have been doing an amazing job. So I must commend you and all the executive members, as well as all the club members as well, because I know that it's not easy doing this, especially in these times. So I must commend you guys. All right. So my name is Jordan Edwards, and I was the president for the 2018-2019 academic year. Before that as well, I was vice president and club treasurer. So I was a part of the club for my 3 years at UWI. So the club is really special to me, and I'm sure it's special as well to all past members, all past presidents, and so on. So in terms of me, since graduating, I immediately was recruited for a job overseas in Japan to teach English, right? But then the pandemic. So I'm still in Jamaica at this time, unfortunately. But soon enough, I will be there for that job. For me, my goal entering UA, like many others, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But I knew for a fact that I wanted a degree, and coming from high school and community college, I knew that going to UA was for many the next logical step. So like many of my peers, many of my friends, UA was the next thing. We continued with our science path. I did biotechnology as my major with a minor in food processing. I enjoyed it, but somewhere along the line, I knew that this wasn't something that I necessarily wanted to pursue. I might go back to it in the future at some point, but I know that for right now, it's not something that I want to do. So going overseas is definitely something I'm looking forward to. Perhaps next year, perhaps by the time we have our next alumni day, if I'm invited again, I'll be there. I'll be there to speak to whoever is a part of the club then. So we shall see about that. I also want to say that while you're doing a degree, remember your why. If you know why you're doing this degree, whether it is like me who just wanted a degree, or you're passionate about science and you want to be a part of research, or you want to do a master's, or even transition to medicine or whatever, it's important that you have your why in mind. Because if you're doing a degree and you don't know why you're doing it, you will feel lost in the process. So bear in mind why you're doing this, and that will help you a lot in terms of navigating the stress, because the stress will come, the challenges will come. But if you know why you are here, why you are doing this degree, it will help you a lot as you navigate university space. Also, I want to say get involved in the club. You're the fact that you're here, a part of this club, means that you are involved. But in any areas where you see that you can be a part of the university experience, I would say go for it. If you're living in hall, if you're a commuter, whatever the case is, try to be involved in university. That's how you meet people. I know that the presenters before spoke a lot about links, and that is a good way to network. So you network with your peers, with your persons who are your seniors, your lecturers, and so on. That's how you create your linkages for when you are getting ready to leave university. You can have, even just for friendship's sake, it's good to create those networks, right? And again, yeah, just keep having your why in mind and doing your best. If you fail, know that it's not the end of the world. You can get back up, and you will graduate, all things being good. And I want to wish you guys all the best as you continue on this university experience and beyond. That's all I have to say, really, because I kind of have to go soon. But yeah,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your time was appreciated, nonetheless, being it short. A lot of a lot of people were kind of shocked immediately afterwards. You're one of the first person that said immediately afterwards I got recruited. That is, well, you and Tashik. Although Tashik did an internship, but you were one of the few people, and I'm sure somebody out there got something from what you said, and that is why
I
we're
was
here.
like, can I add
Mm-hmm.
something as well?
Go
Okay,
ahead,
because
go ahead.
all right. So I was recruited for a job, so the job is still waiting on me. But because I'm not there as yet, I had to find something to do in the meantime. So, like many people who are with a university degree, would say that you never work in customer service or whatever. But and I was one of those people as well who said that I would never do a job in customer service. But I found a job where I was able to work from home, and I'm not working on a cell phone. I do email support. So I have control of my own time. I work from home, as I said. I'm not out there every day in the hustle and bustle. The pay is not great, but it's enough for me to save. So if you're in a situation where you leave university and you don't see where your next job is coming from, I would not re if you find a job that makes you comfortable enough, I should say go for it, regardless of if it's customer service or whatever. Because even now, just recently, this week, I was promoted, so I'm going into management position, a management role pretty soon. So you never know where the journey will take you, but be open to possibilities. All right.
Okay, love that. Thank you. Do not be there twiddling your thumb. You hear, guys? You don't get that big. I have some people, I live on hall currently, and I have some people saying, hey, I want to work at NASA. No, legit. That's what they said. And I was like, we have Jamaicans everywhere. You can work at NASA. But yes, NASA is not going to just come and jump in your lap, but don't be there twiddling your thumbs. Work. You use your job and And in the meantime, God will prepare, if you believe in God, as I do, God will prepare the way for wherever you want to go next. People said, God, you make plans and God laugh or God smile. You make your plans, and whatever come your way, just know that with God, with prayer, through perseverance, through hard work, you'll eventually end up where you are to be. Just know that, guys. At the end of the day, you will be where you are intended to be. I hope that today you learned something, you heard something, you remembered something, and you write down these names. You call up your TAs, the people who are in your labs. You call up your lecturers. You message them. You annoy them in a good way, as Derek said, Mr. Harsham. Annoy them in a good way. Don't ask a full question for ask the full question's sake. Although they like to say there's no silly question. You go there and you come up with you do the past papers from before, a little one question, a little two question, and then you send it off to them and say, please look at this, and this is the question year and the number that I did, and is this correct? What more could I do? And a lot of your essays for people who are in the biochemistry department will be more explanation. You're going to write a bunch of essays. They'll be never ending, it seems. And you're going to need, a good validation, because, for first year, you're just short answers were your thing. But now they want you to know why. If this enzyme don't work, what is the next thing? What's the cause? What is this? And this can only come about when you have a good relationship. So to do our vote of thanks, we have our lovely secretary, Mitty Lee Millington, and I'll exit stage left, and the floor is now hers. I'm not hearing. I'm not hearing. I'm not sure.
Hearing me now?
Yes, Mitty, love that. Thank you. I'm hearing you
Okay.
now.
So, good afternoon. My name is Mitty Lee, and I just want to say thank you to Kenroy Wallis, Derek Harsham, Kevin Donaldson, Damali Lewis, and Jordan Edwards, and everyone that took some time out of their busy schedule to attend our Alumni Day. We appreciate the words of wisdom, encouragement, and advice you had to offer. And even though they were not able to make it live, I want to thank Dermaine Baker and Tashik Gibson, who submitted a video presentation. We are really grateful for your contributions in making our Alumni Day a success. And again, thank you to everyone who made it out, everyone from the Biochemistry Society and everyone overall in making our Alumni Day a success. And I hope that you guys take something from this day. I surely did. I'll now turn back over to Tracy and
Okay, thank you for that lovely vote of thanks, Mitty. Before I go, I think that Mali said he had something else to say. I'm not sure if you want to just jump on and say something real quick, or I should just bid you all goodbye. Where are you, Damali? You're in. Alrighty. He's here, the man of the hour. Come, speak your truth. Yes. We're seeing you, not hearing you. Talking? Okay, hearing
Yeah,
you
hear me
now.
now?
Yes,
All right.
lovely.
Oh yeah, just a little short story me you want to share because I don't know if most of you would have met Prof Irving. Well, the third year persons would have met Prof Irving, of course. When I was president last year, I had a meeting uh that I had set up for her to be the big presenter. Right? She couldn't make it because of some dedication to the country or commitment to the country. However, from that conversation that we had, or that dialogue that we had, from there we've developed a relationship where if any type of resource is needed, I'm one of the first persons she links and come to. And it was a thing where it was what, April when I was finishing my degree, well, close to my last moments for the degree. And, she hit me up and said, hey, uh, starting a new lab, I will need some persons to be working there, right? Well, no, it was a marketing plan she needed, you know. Me, no young person, I did some marketing, I had some experience with it, you know. I couldn't believe my luck, Me, I say, boy, I made a look at work and then could think that just because I have links and them thing there is it, and just the whole conversation with a lecturer, dialogue, and she just trusting you as a person. So from that, some have a local link background with that them type of thing there with the whole experience PCR because it's a COVID testing lab. So you do PCR testing, right? You can do the PCR test them and you give back the results them. So it's something like that, right? So my thing is that, I'm not say if it depend upon a lecturer for bossy and anything there, but who knows what can happen. So that's my story, right? Never end up with doing that job because the pay never so steady and whatever, and I got a better opportunity, so I took it. So, but always keep your options open, improve on your skills. Don't depend on those local lab biochemistry skills. That is kind of useless in a sense because it's still just first degree, you know. You just training me, but you don't have any practical skills like that. So go out there, get some different skills, upgrade your thing, upgrade your profile so nobody can gain a chat. So that's from me. Tracer can afford.
Okay, thank you, Past Prezi. Thank you for always being there and reaching out whenever. So, guys, we're coming to an end. No, this is the end, but I would like to thank all. We had up to like 29 or 30, I believe. I'm not sure. But for everyone who took time out of their busy UWI schedule to make it here, all our presenters, be it live or they sent in a video, we appreciate you and we appreciate your time. And you know where to find us, or Instagram, you know, our Instagram page. I'm sure the link is coming. Yes, love that moderator. Jordan Alex is our moderator. He's behind the scenes. You will not see him, but I'll make sure to big him up another meeting. And so you know where to find us. Where every other Thursday we always have something good in store. So always watch out for that. Subscribe and like up our videos. And yeah, until next time, guys. We're off. Farewell. Goodbye. Moderator, please let